Just kidding. I'll sing that one for you, sweetie. No, I was one of those guys that I started making records a long time ago, and I made them for years and years and years, but I couldn't really prove it because nobody had them. Nobody played them, nobody had them. It was great. But anyway, lo and behold, this song showed up. This one she wants to hear it. By the way, it's called "When I Call Your Name." For future reference, it's fun to hear titles of your songs that people think they know, and they're always just a little bit off. It's pretty cute. Sing that note on the table. But man, I was so grateful for this song to show up. You know, you heard your whole life about, and all it takes is one. It just takes one right song at the right time. I loved it. I said, no, I think it takes a whole lot more than that. You know? And then this song finally did kind of turn up and changed everything. There's more pickups in the parking lot at the beer joints when we play. And occasionally, what was interesting is I'd get recognized. And I've never really had that happen much, and it was weird and awkward, and people look at you and you know, this and that, and kind of different. But then I decided I would have fun with that kind of stuff. Two ladies were walking towards me in a mall one day, and smoking and yapping, and they passed by me, and one of them turned and did a double take. Hey, that looked like Vince Gill. The other woman just started laughing. She said, he wishes. Oh, man, I've always been a little bit calorically challenged over the years. That's what we like to say now. It's a much more correct way of saying you got a fat ass. I was sitting somewhere having lunch, you know, and these two gals were a few tables away, and I can hear anything just about. They're whispering, and I hear one of them go, hey, I think that guy over there sitting there is Vince Gill. The other woman kind of snuck a peek, and I could hear her say, no way, that guy's way too thin. That was a great one. Bought both a banana split. We were playing in Chicago one year, and we waltzed into the restaurant, you know, getting off the bus. Our hair was going every which way. We looked like a couple of knuckleheads in there and sat down. And I think Fleetwood Mac had just played there the night before, and at the same hotel, and this waitress came over and she goes, you guys with that band? And I said, no, not really. She said, what do you guys do? And I said, well, we sell t-shirts for another guy. She goes, yeah, who? I said, a guy named Vince Gill. She goes, oh yeah, I heard him. And she got her breakfast, and she came over and made more talk. She goes, so what do you guys do for this guy? And I said, well, we sell t-shirts, keychains, and hats, and stuff like that. So we're both aspiring songwriters, and we're really trying to break into the business and be songwriters. She said, well, okay, you know, blah, blah, blah. And finally, she kind of looked at me and she goes, you know what? She says, you kind of look like him. You look like him a little bit. And I looked at him and I said, thanks a lot. Kind of overweight, fat, dough-fed, you know, blah, blah, blah. And she said, yeah, you know, he has put on a lot of weight since he won those awards. I love me too. I wouldn't eat that pizza if I didn't like it. And so the meal was over, and I paid with a credit card. And she came over to the table and she said, you are a son of a bitch. The best one of all, here's the best one of all, I'll never forget this. We were playing somewhere in eastern Washington, the state of Washington, and we had a night off, and I was touring with Patty Loveless. And, oh, yeah, boy, she great. And so we had a night off, and both bands, both crews, all the bus drivers, all the truck drivers, there must have been 60 of us. We took over the Holiday Inn bar where we were staying, you know, and it's packed, and we're in there, you know, with a night off. It's not a safe place to be, and so it just so happened that this was karaoke night in this bar. So the crew boys are up there doing Motley Crue duets and just roaring and having a large time. And I'm sitting next to this really beautiful African American girl, and pretty soon she looks at me and she says, "Oh, excuse me, do I know you?" I said, "I don't think so. I'm not really from around here." And she goes, "No, I know you from somewhere. I can't place it, but I know that I know you." I said, "I don't know where it could be." She said, "What's your name?" I said, "My name is Willis." She shook her head. "No, I don't know anybody named Willis. I don't know him." "What do you do, Willis?" I said, "Well, I sell auto parts here in the tri-state area." She's just shaking her head. "No, but I know that I know you. I don't know where it be." And the night went on. Pretty soon she looked at me. She goes, "Hey, Willis." I said, "Yeah, baby." She said, "Why don't you and me go up there and do us a duet?" And I said, "Oh, God, no way." So you couldn't get me to sing in front of people for a minute. She goes, "Come on, baby, I'll get you through. Just come on with me, come on." I said, "No, I can't. I'm too scared. I'd be too scared." And so the night went on, and got later and later, and I finally, at the end of the night, I looked at her and I said, "Okay, let's go sing. Let's go sing a duet." She goes, "Attaboy, Willis, come on." We got up there and she said, "What you want to sing, baby?" I said, "I don't want to be up here. I'm about to freak out now. I don't want to sing. I'm going to go sit down." She goes, "Come on, come on." And we picked a little Motown duet, you know, and I started singing the first verse, and I sang it way out of tune, sang the wrong words, and she just looked at me like, "Oh, dog, he sucks." And she sang, she wasn't bad, and then the next verse came along, and I sang it worse than the first one. It was possible, and it was just, she was demoralized, and her head was down, she was just despondent, and then the last verse came, and I went Stevie Wonder on her. And I started doing all these falsetto runs way up high, and all these really cool runs and all this stuff. She just went. And she just, eyes got this big, you know. And we walked off that stage, and she was bewildered, and she put her arm around me. She said, "You know what, Willis?" And I said, "What's that?" And she said, "Once you wasn't quite so nervous, you got a little bit better." I started laughing. She, "What are you laughing at, Willis?" I said, "Well, I've been messing with you all night long." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I'm pretty well-known country singer in Nashville, Tennessee." She goes, "That's where I knew you from. You at Alan Jackson." Yep. There you go, man. But anyway, I invited her to the show the next night. I said, "Come be my guest. It was fun messing with you, so come be my guest at the show." And that sweet girl has been coming to see me off and on for 25 years. And she still calls me Willis. By request, I rushed home from work. I spend my whole day just thinking of you. When I walk through the front door, my whole life was changed. 'Cause nobody answered when I called your name. note on the table that told me goodbye. It said you'd grown weary of living alive. Oh, your love has ended, but mine still remains. But nobody answered when I called your name. Oh, the lonely sound of my voice calling is driving me insane. And just like rain, the tears keep falling, 'cause nobody answered when I called your name. Driving me insane. And just like rain, the tears keep falling. Nobody answers when I call your name. Oh, nobody answers name.